Okay. I think things are working now. I'm on OBS. If you don't know what's going on, nothing is working. I switched over to OBS and now I think things might be working. It looks like things are working. I'm getting an audio readout on my microphone. I'm getting an audio readout from the desktop. Things, I think, are working. I don't use OBS very often, so I'm very dubious about this whole situation, and I'm really annoyed because I don't know why Twitch Studio just decided to stop working for no reason. But we're gonna power through it. This game is also doing something really annoying, where every time I click on my second monitor, the game just goes away. It's really fun. It's really fun how that happens. I think I need to meditate. I think the only thing that would calm me down at this point would be meditating. I just don't understand why does every software have to suck? Like, how do you make something that sucks? Anyway. So Twitch Studio sucks. I still like it, but right now it sucks. I'm on OBS instead. Obviously it's better software. It's way more confusing to use though. I just made something disappear. I don't understand. Anyway, let's go back to the beginner's guide. I think we might be ready to play this game now. I really sincerely apologize if I'm not as much fun as normal. I told myself I was going to play this game no matter what, even if I was super frustrated, which I am. But we're going to play the game anyway. We're going to try and power through it, and we're going to try and have a good time, and we're going to try and calm down. I was going to put my camera up for this one, but since I don't have the patience to figure out how to do that with OBS, I'm just going to say screw it. Anyway, let's switch gears and try to get into the beginner's guide. I hate technology. I hate technology, but I particularly hate computers, I think, because it's just so... There's something about computers that is just so counterintuitive to me. But we're going to deal with it. I might drop down the... No, I'll keep the microphone where it is. Because it just looks like it's peaking. It's just peaking the audio capture. But it does that on Twitch Studio anyway, so... We're going to drink some water. Take a deep breath or two. And hope everything works. Because honestly, I don't use OBS enough to know if this is working. I can tell that I'm streaming. That's it. That's all I can tell. I can tell that I'm streaming. And I'm guessing the audio is fine. It looks like it's recording both from the game and also from my microphone, which is all I need. However, I am still very dubious as to whether or not this is working. Having said that, we're going to start now. Just going to take a few deep breaths and try to push forward with this thing. This is the kind of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Usually I just give up and go lay down. But for this one, we're going to try and power through it and have a good time and have a good stream. So, taking a sip of water. My mouth is dry too. Alright. Begin the game. This is like the 4th time that I've seen this.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff. And his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction.
Okay,
Let's
bye.
take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I don't care. You think I care? I don't care. Whoa!
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Oh, I can talk here.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this road. Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay, sorry if I'm talking, if I'm not talking enough. There's a lot of dialogue in this, so I don't really know. I forgot to mention before that I saw the first, like, maybe 45 minutes of this on MatPat's podcast, live stream on GT Live. So that's where I got the idea to do this. I think I mentioned that before, but I haven't mentioned it on this particular stream yet because it's just been so chaotic. So I know the reason why I wanted to play this is because I saw MatPat play it on MatPat play a little bit of it on his live stream, and I wanted to. I haven't seen. I've only seen like the first like maybe 45 minutes. So I've seen all this stuff already.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Okay. I'm gonna take another swig of water here. I'm guessing that our.
So try walking backwards.
Okay. I'm talking.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
I'm talking to my stream right now. Oh. I'm a he. My he.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
This is kind of confusing. Ooh, ooh. Why is she a she? That's an interesting choice. How will she find the strength?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Okay.
Next one.
Is there a pause button?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Okay. Oh, thank God. Thank God we found a pause button. Okay. I'm just trying to process all this stuff. I think the last one was really cool. I think this whole game in general is cool. I think the last one was cool because it's sort of a he doesn't really go into depth about what that game means, I guess, but it's just sort of, it's interesting how you have to walk backwards and then it talks about the future, and I really think to me it seems clear that he was trying to demonstrate that in life you can't see the future, you can only see the past, so you can really only see behind you. You can't see what's in front of you, and that's sort of what that, if you didn't pick up on that, that's sort of what that's supposed to be. So I think that's cool. I don't know what else it was meaning.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I'm not going to press enter. I'm not going to do it. I wonder how many people play this game and specifically don't press. I want to play it how Coda wanted us to play. So my first theory about this game, I'm not sure Coda is real. I don't necessarily think that the narrator here has any reason to lie to us, but I think narratively speaking, this game sort of works. I don't know if I would say it works better, but it sort of works in a different way. Probably better. Let's say better. See, this game works a little bit better from a narrative standpoint if Coda is the narrator. And I believe the narrator is supposed to be the creator of the game, So it seems weird that somebody would create a game about somebody else and then market it and sell it. So that's why I think that Coda is the narrator. He's just kind of playing coy. And plus, this game was also made by the guy who made the Stanley Parable, and after a couple of games here, you're going to start to realize that there's a lot of similarities between these sort of proto games and the Stanley Parable itself that leads me to believe that the guy who made this game, these games that we are currently playing, these mini games, is the one who made the Stanley Parable, that Coda is not real, that these two people are one and the same. It's unclear why he would lie, because he essentially is lying to us. It's unclear as to why he would do that, but it seems like that's what he's doing. I mean, I'm going to feel like a complete jackass if that's not true, if Coda was real and that's part of the story, but this game just, it seems a little bit weird that somebody would make a game about somebody else and then sell it. So that's going to be my main, but you know, I think the game works both ways. But I'm guessing that Coda is a fictional person. But I still think it's a profound game regardless. But I'm also not entirely sure if Coda is a real person. All right. We're almost there. I thought the door was going to shut in our face. First time I saw this, I thought the door was just going to shut. Man, we're still going slow, aren't we? Please. Please let me in. Oh.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Aw. That's sad. That's really sad. That's really sad. I feel sorry for Coda. I don't remember this. Oh yes, I do. Never mind.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Well, since I already saw someone else do this.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
Coda killed someone in prison. Also, isn't Coda the name of the bear in Brother Bear?
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Holy crap.
How
Look at
about
all
that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior, and then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't know, you tell me, Coda. Coca-Coda.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Sorry, am I making you seasick yet? Okay. Where am I? How are we feeling? I feel like
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Okay.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
It says the streetwise.
Games,
Would you shut up? The streetwise fool is what that says.
Is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Ooh. This game is visually awesome. I feel like Mario. It's gonna be kind of tough for me to give commentary for this, just because our buddy Coda here talks a lot. So I might be quiet for the majority of this. I don't really know. I might just let the game speak for itself. Oh, shoot. Ah! Alright, we're fine. We're good, we're good. We're good. Shoot, girl, we're Gucci. I would not step in here.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
What's wrong
This
with
is
code?
something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Coda sounds like a charming fella. Not that I'm one to talk or anything. I'm definitely more on the playability side of that argument, I would say. But I would also argue that if something is genuinely interesting, then it will be playable.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Well, thanks for spoiling it. I can't get it.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Listen, buddy, I wasn't worried that you were gonna share. Not that, I'm having a delightful time.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Did you come from above? What was up there? First, I don't remember what was up there. That was a long time ago. I've been through a lot. There was an enormous prison. There were floating colored blocks. There was a world stamped with whiteness. Let's tell them about the blocks. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. I mean, yes. Why would I deceive them? Tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. I didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. I don't remember how I solved it. I'm trying to remember. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. I don't want to say any of these things to them. What are you testing me on? What are you testing me on, Coda? What are you trying to get out of me? I don't remember how to solve it. Please tell us how to reach the end. Oh. I don't have the first idea as to what the meaning of this is supposed to be. Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? Yes. Do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Why would I care about the space between the doors? Actually, now that you mention it, I remember feeling strange. I don't recall a space between the doors. I'm gonna say 1, because I want to know why I should care. There's a reason? But, oh, okay. No, I didn't want to read that anyway. Look at this wall. I like this wall.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
I think we're getting to the part that I haven't seen yet already. I think. This looks new to me. Oh, wait, no it's not. I've seen this.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
All right, give it to me, Magic Man. Fill me with it. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Yeah, I think this part's new. We've already gotten to the... How long have I been streaming? 38 minutes? I'm going to go get some water. I'm going to get some more water. You guys okay? You guys want some water? I'll get you some water. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm getting some water. Alright, boobies. Alright, boobies. Daddy's back. Daddy's back. Okay, now we've officially gotten to the point where this is all new for me. So I just got done climbing the stairs and now I'm tired. Oh. What's that big old window for? Tell me your secrets. Tell me your secrets. You're not telling me your secret. Oh. Nice room, not. Okay, I think I see where this is going already.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
I don't know, man. Your voice is pretty hot, so I mean, he was probably not that freaked out. Can you guys hear me? Wait, what? Holy shoop. Can you guys hear me? That doesn't make sense. Hello. Reasonable.
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I wasn't
Either
gonna.
way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Guy over there wrote much wrong. That doesn't
But it's
sound like.
ironic, isn't it? That in playing the...
I need a break. If I can give a little bit of a critique, this game is really awesome. But if you're a streamer, this guy talking the whole time, it makes it a little overwhelming.
This game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Do you feel like a hero yet? Jeez. Are we sure Coda's not a really effed up individual? Bursts snow. What? That one's funny. I'm freaking out, man. What's all this stuff? Balls. I want to tell you a secret. I don't want to know your secret. I am the king of the world. Okay, that's cute. Which way am I supposed to go? This is like a mini golf course. I can assure you guaranteed that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place, and the sailors are looking for... Dude, Coda! Dude, you're a different species. Aw. I refuse to believe. I need to go to the freaking bathroom. Recognize me, please. There's nothing here. Go back. I don't want to listen to you. Don't listen to that guy. Yay! Did I write that? A free t-shirt. Need other side. Door how open. Open sesame. Makes game. Includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Cannot open door. No. Cannot open door. I want. Internal. This game's freaking me out. New room. I didn't know it was gonna be anxiety producing. Did you hear the chimes? Oh, that's sad. This really does read like people's like genuine internal thoughts, but there's just so many of them. It's not very crowded here. I was gonna say exactly the opposite. There's just so many of these that it feels like if you were this person and every single one of these things was a thought that you had in the past like year. I can't imagine. I don't think I have that many thoughts. I don't think I have this many thoughts. And I think I have a lot of thoughts. I don't think I have this many thoughts. And they're more coherent than that, at least. You can go in here, I think. Don't bother. Game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. I am compelled. Stop, turn back. Proceeding further will result in misery. Well, take my hand, let's jump together. No, I'm not gonna. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is this? I like that painting. It's nice. It's colorful. If you ever get over there, I'll take your word for it. Hey, don't talk about me that... Whoa, okay. Sorry, Coda. Very good game. Very good game. Next time I will do better. I need someone to talk... Aw. This is a note. Don't listen to the other notes. What is down there? Nothing. Just a hole. I'm not safe. Today I learned you cannot fall off. I'm not going to trust that. I wonder if, like... This... I feel like I'm being psychoanalyzed. Stop faking it. Painting, what does it mean? I'm really glad that this isn't what my internal thought structure looks like, by the way. I feel like this is... I'm being, like, shown a psyche that I'm glad I don't have. Whoever made this has this. That's exactly what I'm thinking. Well done, all of you. I mean, I don't actually think that. I mean, well, actually, maybe. If you thought Coda had a lot of issues, it would be easy to come to that conclusion. Based on what we're seeing here. That's all I have to say about that. Devil Tower Star. Huh? Is that like a Mario reference? It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. Stop pretending you are other people. We all die someday. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything. Cabbage shapes our nation. I don't know why I feel compelled to read all of them. I should probably move a little faster. A lot of negative thoughts here. Must be a reason for it. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game! Oh, and then you came back. More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea.
This is nuts. It's like gothic. This is like a religious experience.
That was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
I'm hearing voices. There's those dots again. This is freaky. I didn't think it was going to take this turn. The spiraling knot. I'm okay. Downward.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
This game is genuinely freaking me out a little bit. This is schizophrenia. I just want everybody to know. This is schizophrenia. I think Coda's schizophrenic. Holy crap! What's that sound? Oh, it's still okay. Okay, hi, hello.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own...
Okay. Let's just take a break for a second, alright? Holy crap. Whew. That was genuinely a little bit overwhelming. I think that was the point. That it's supposed to be like maybe a representation of what's inside Coda's head. I hope this one's a little bit calmer, because that was like, woof. It's like a representation of a panic attack. Is what it feels like to have a anxiety attack. Alright.
Wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
I'm glad it's gonna... Hopefully it'll be a little bit calmer. Oh, I like the circles. Look at the circles. It is the same painting. What does that mean? You know that means something. Same painting. You know it means something. Whoops.
So, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's going to start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
That is not a television, that is a coffee table. Let's put a huge picture of a horse. Let's do that. I like that. Whoops. Alright. Okay. Okay. Live Tesla coils skylight. Table, you need a table. Pretty sure my choices aren't making any difference. Oh, that doesn't go with the Duco.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
I don't know. I feel like it could be a metaphor for the futility of modern
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
I don't wanna. No. No. I am nobody's fool. Except for Coda's. Follow the instruction carefully. Take care. Oh, whoops. First click on this table. Okay, there's those 3 dots again. I'm guessing that's like Coda's like signature. Yay! Oh, turn. Oh, pay attention! Go to the left side, sofa. This one? Yay! Touch the shelves. Are these shelves? To the start to be taken back to your prison. I mean, if it gets me away from you, return.
Oh. And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. and he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created, and the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
I have another theory. I think we might get to the end of this and find out that Coda is dead, or perhaps that he killed himself. Because this is... I mean, there's some... Like, the one before was very sort of schizophrenic. It was sort of a representation of schizophrenia. And then this past one has been very obsessive-compulsive. All around concerning things, I would say. That would be very sad if that was the case. But I feel like that could be where we're going here. What? Oh. Phone. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm supposed to respond. I was in the furniture maze.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself. I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Hello, CDE. I didn't see you there. I'm too, like, engrossed in this game. It's really, like, it's very heavy. It's very, like, emotionally heavy. I'm sneaking. Okay.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
I had to follow the footprints. Oh. Clean. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by my... Okay, and right, miserable, that would have been... Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Whoa. Don't worry about me. Let's just say that. Uh-oh. We said the wrong thing. Why don't we start cleaning and then you decide whether you could do it all night? Clear the tape. That was easy. Please run into the bedroom and make the bed. Where is it? Okay, I thought that door was opening, but it wasn't. Bathroom. Bedroom. Yay! This is a nice house. Straighten out the rug a bit. Okay, who am I? Am I your maid? Do you enjoy? How'd you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this... That's rude. How'd you end up doing this job? Turns out I've never felt so good doing something for money in my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. I'd have got some okay. Speaking of demons, someone just put this couch all in a mess. Never did like cleaning. I have to go back and reread. Speaking of demons, someone's put this. Okay, yeah. Yep. Okay. So is this a date? Make it cheesy. Make it especially cheesy. No. Okay. This is like all the text conversations I ever have. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? Alright, you're getting pretty demandy Sandy over there. The tub. Books. Oh, the bedroom. Would you put them back on the shelf? Oh. Duh. I got distracted and I went, okay, now then, how about you come and clear
After
these...
the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
I don't feel particularly, let me tell you something, your house is only as difficult to clean as you are. If you're finding the work hard, maybe you have a bit of housekeeping to do before you come to work. Ha, and here I go with another lecture, of course I would.
I know Kuda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that...
Could you let me finish? I'm trying. I can't even focus.
He called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Okay. Utility of chores. There's a bit of truth in it, no. Okay. Let's go get the books again.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Alright, well, I feel like I can see where this is going. I don't know, it's kind of pretty out here. Lamp.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This one gets a bit goofy.
Where's it going? Well, so far this dude seems to have some if the inside of his mind is anything like the game's, seems like this guy is a deeply disturbed person. So I can only guess where this would be going, and the fact that he mentioned that he was intensely happy all the time when he was making the last game seemed to imply that he was not normally happy, and it seems like that's kind of the direction that this is going. But then again, that's just what I feel like I've picked up.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Whoa! What? Oh! Oh! Oh!
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh, okay. Should I say something? What's the black hole for? Can I get out? Can I get... I want out of the game. I want out of this game. I don't like this game. It's just taking me to some dark places. One. Oh. Let me tell you right now, it isn't effortless, then it's not the right... If it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. Okay. You are... Hold on. Drinking is not hurting my life. Thank goodness all of you perceive me as being wise and intelligent. If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solution... Ew, I'm developing a cyst. Ha ha ha, just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? There is no truth, there is no path. What if I'm not a good teacher? Do what is easiest, do what is simplest, feel what is true. Somebody's coming out of the back of the room. Yeah, no kidding. Do what is easiest. Nothing. No. What? It's coming for you. Everyone run, run. I don't. That's the only part that I'm not totally...
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have.
Really?
To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Good to hear it. What? I feel great.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
It's cause he's depressed. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I mean, that's not funny, but I mean, I don't know how you can be anything but depressed and make these games, honestly. Like, very creative, and I like, but I'm very, very concerned for Coda's psyche here. I'm very concerned. I think some of these thought processes are not entirely normal, if you ask me. Or at the very least, they're not the healthiest thing. Holy crap. Scared me a little bit. Wait, what? The performance is beginning. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. You'll start out leaning... This is like an anxiety dream, this whole game so far. I've had a lot of anxiety dreams. And they, this game is that. Okay. Hello. Hey, pretty lady. Wise, happy. Hey, pretty lady. Focused. Successful. Whoops, 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 whoops. I'm not joking. That's really what's happening. Where is the bathroom? This game is overwhelming. Hello, that's it. That's not a conversation. Well, screw you, lady. Oh. It's someone else talking. Do it again. I'm super, super scared right now. That would be true. I like you. No, we don't like her. Not like. Here are all my hopes and dreams. You're completely missing the tone. What? They bounce when I touch. Oh! Yay! Fun. Can I bounce between them? Yay! Hold on. Hey. Okay. Well, okay. Well, but it's fun. Okay. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. I bet you've learned to lean into the pain. Let's just say 1. You're messing it all up. Oh. Who? Are we exploring Coda's issues with talking to girls, perhaps? Oh, or is that just me? Oh, okay.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed? Really? What if I don't trust you? Oh crap! Whoa! I can see. Everybody needs to know I can see. Alright, well, I didn't close my eyes.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh. Don't let this be forever? I can't die like this. Well, I mean, yeah, well. Are we going to crash? Yep. How about I just get in this elevator and leave? Well, all right. Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from? But then, even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna... I've been concerned about Coda since the beginning, to be quite honest. Um...
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
How close are we to the end of this? Because I don't know how much of... I don't know how much more of this I can take. I mean, this is pretty intense. It's not a long game. You're almost through it. Thanks, bud. Glad to see you're still here. I feel like I haven't been talking a ton. For one thing, because like the game is just so involved, and also because this is kind of a heavy experience, so it's there's not a lot for me to say other than wow, this is sad, or disturbing, or hello. How do I get out of here? Hello? Is anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on. You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Okay, there's a lot of words on the screen. I'm gonna try my best to. When I try to create, I feel empty. How do I get it? Oh, we've already built. Just to protect me. Somebody's crying. What are you talking about? There's no machine here. There's just words on some walls. Here we are. Oh, there's no machine here. You'll see. You have to say that your work is fun and easy. You have to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Sure, making games is easy. Yay! Whoa! But it wasn't true. Why did I feel awful when I said that? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. Keep saying that creation is easy. When I make games, I feel completely energized.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering.
Every time I make something, I feel better.
This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt with it.
I've never tried this particular therapy method before.
I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Sheesh, that crying in the background is nuts. Hello, please stop crying.
But it didn't stop.
It's sad.
After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
I feel like we're in intervention territory at this point, by the way. If our buddy Coda was Glad to see you've arrived. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. I'm also noticing that we are frequently female. I'm wondering if Coda is trying to say something perhaps about himself. That he is not a he, that he is a she. Glad to see you've arrived safely. Catch the machine for now. Even interrogation when you not. I intend to be quick. I intend to be quiet. I intend to be brutal. Sheesh. I intend to be quick. To be warned that someone called the press, we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Ah. Hey, everybody. Hey. Hey, everyone. Hey. Hey. Would it be... Hey. Okay.
And of course, it's the machine.
Yeah, no surprise there. So this is his passion. Were those there before? I don't think they were. Or maybe they were. I don't know. Yeah, it's unclear what I should be saying. I don't want to hurt the machine. So, is the machine Coda himself, or am I Coda and the machine is Coda's passion? I'm a little unclear on that. Everything else has been sort of understandable up until this point. Go away! All of you! Can't you see what you're doing to Coda? My followers, my friends. You people are not my friends. Falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologize. The machine... They both say the same thing, as far as I can tell. I'm not sure what's going on in this one, to be honest. We will destroy the machine. We will destroy everything the machine has created. Created? Oh, look, we're here again. Oh, oh. Oh, are we going to shoot this theater? I don't want to shoot the theater. Without going into the machine too much, did you see its gears somewhere locked in?
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Somewhere locked in threes, they can never turn like that. Well, I understand that the machine's not working. So I suppose maybe this is symbolic for Coda no longer feeling like he needs to perform. Hopefully?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I don't know. It looks like Coda is whoops.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Down your weapon. Whoop. I can't move. Can I move? I can't move. Oh.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Okay. I'm not crazy about where this is going.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Whoa.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
How are you supposed to do it? Good Lord. Alright.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Can you imagine if I had actually guessed it? Actually, wasn't. I got 3 of the numbers. That's kind of incredible. What's the chance? What's the chance of that? Oh. This game is dark, man. This game is dark. It was dark right away.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Well, I mean, at least it looks pretty cool.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
Aww.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Stop adding lampposts to them.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Don't say... Hold on. I have personally, I have entered into the zone of confusion. I have become confused.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again. Like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Whew. I don't know where this is going anymore. Okay. Well.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
So who made this?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Thought that was going to be a mirror. Whoop. Oh, we're in the dark now. Jeez, where is this? So are we to believe that Coda made this, or I don't think so.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
I'm also back to thinking maybe Coda isn't a real person again. Which is what I thought at the beginning.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Oh, is he gone? Oh, well, see ya. I mean, I feel sorry for both of you now, if there are indeed two of you. Let's go through the doors. I also feel a little bit sorry for me, because now I'm kind of sad. I feel bad for Coda and his friend. I don't blame him for thinking that Coda was depressed, by the way. I also thought Coda was depressed. And you know what? I still think Coda was depressed. I haven't changed my mind. He might have changed his mind and he's trying to apologize, but I haven't changed my mind. If Coda's real, I still think he was dealing with some pretty serious crap. Oh. But maybe that's not the point that we are supposed to take from the game. Hi CDE. I'm still paying attention. I'm reading all the stuff that you're saying. I just haven't called it out. Thanks for sticking around. Ooh. Oh, it's that thing. It's the space float in the sky space thing. Are we gonna float? Are we gonna float again? Whoops. Oh. Oh. Whew.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles, and you're so tired, but I know that you're strong, so turn back.
It's a little bit long, or a little bit loud. Oh shoot. Sorry about that.
Turn back.
All right, that's the end. Well, yeah, I don't even really know what to say about that. I feel like I feel like I don't have any really condensed thoughts about the game. Can I share a thought? Yes, you can. Go right ahead. I'll wait. um, I think my question is, do we think that Coda was real or not? I think it seems more likely that he was, but I'm also not sure. Okay, imagine seeing the whole game through this filter. Your character is an obsessed fan who met a cool dev at a game jam, made email contact, and wouldn't take hints or leave the dev alone. Or instead of dev, let's say the coder. Coder sounds like coda. It was there more to that, or was that it? The dev gave him personal access to stuff as a courtesy, and it snowballed. I guess it seems strange for me to see that from that perspective, just because, like, I know that the narrator is supposed to be the creator of the Stanley Parable, and he has such a friendly and personable voice that it's hard for me to see him as an obsessed fan. Unless the whole thing was meant to be fictional? I can't quite put my finger on that. Because if the whole thing was meant to be fictional, then I don't understand. Like, I understand less. So the dev ended up sending a busy work house tidying game that never ends, a maze that can't be solved, a number guessing game with 1 in a million chance of solving it. Oh, you mean like he was trying to keep him busy. He was making other things. The tower felt distant, like Coda shutting himself away. I mean, I definitely, like, I understand that was essentially what was happening. That our narrator felt like Coda was becoming more and more distant. And I guess maybe the point was that you were supposed to question whether or not it was because of the narrator's feelings or if it was because of Coda's feelings that the game felt so distant. Meanwhile, the narrator is adding lampposts, even putting one next to the character on the spaceship who you have to talk to. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, I was confused by that. I wouldn't have known why Coda would be so upset about the lamppost in particular. Which is weird because at the beginning of the game he said that the lampposts, that Coda was the one who put the lamppost there. And then at the end, he was like, "Stop doing that." Why would he tell us that Coda put them there if he was the one putting them there? I'm a little confused about that. Then after being told when the narrator works out what the problem is, don't say anything. He didn't even stop. Don't say anything. When did he tell him? When did Coda tell the narrator, don't say anything? Oh, after the tower. Yeah. But so see that definitely implies to me that our narrator is supposed to be that our narrator is that sort of points to the narrator himself being fictional. I think that's another thing that's confusing about this is that like if this really happened, it seems like the narrator didn't learn his lesson. You know? Because now he's showing everyone. Also, I find it hard to believe that this happened because I mentioned this at the beginning, that he's selling the game. Claiming Coda put the lamppost in is part of the showing Coda's game to people. This time showing the games to us. Narrator admitted to changing the games. Well, yeah, I mean, I know that, but I still don't really understand why Coda would be upset about the lamppost. And also, like I said, it seems like the narrator didn't really learn his lesson if he made a whole game out of it. But at the beginning, he specifically says, "I am so-and-so, the creator of the Stanley Parable." Or did I just imagine that? Which tells me, like, somebody out there is willing to throw themselves under the bus. Because this was made by the person who made the Stanley Parable. So when the narrator shows up and says, "Hey, it's me, the creator of the Stanley Parable," I'm immediately thinking, this can't be fictional. And then he goes on to paint himself in such a horrible light. But yet at the same time, it seems like he didn't really learn his lesson. If he's showing all these games to people and monetizing it, it seems like he's a douche. Guess if you created anything and someone else thought, this is incomplete, I will improve it, and then kind of took credit for it or emotionally leached off the process, it would be upsetting / infuriating. Yeah, I guess so. It's strange to me that this game is not free. This game is not free. I paid money for this game. How do you make a game like this and monetize it? I think Coda's going to be really upset about that if Coda is real. Or is he going to give all the money to Coda? I feel like the narrator did not learn his lesson, and I'm kind of stuck on that. I think he mentions it at some point. He even says something to the effect of, I'm doing it again. But it doesn't matter. Like, just saying, it's me, I'm doing it again, doesn't absolve you of it. He is doing it again. And he's like, please, everybody like me. I don't know, this is really strange. This is a really strange game. It's Davy Redden, and he's a real person. I read something speculating that he had a friendship that ended weirdly or badly with a roommate, but I don't even know how much to believe that. And I totally agree with you that he's failed to learn any lesson, at least within this game, which could be a fictional narrative. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It does seem like it would be fictional. But if it's not... If it is fictional, then I feel like it would have been better for him to come out and say it. Especially since there's so much like emotion near the end. That part feels very real to me, but it's so raw and just frankly disturbing to see that somebody was, because he was saying like, it's like a drug, I need the validation. If that is really his true feelings, then it's like, shoot, man. I mean, that's extremely... I mean, it's pretty far gone. Like, that's an individual that is pretty far gone. You know, I sort of started this thing worrying about Coda, and then by the end of it, I'm like, I'm worried about both of these guys. Both of these people seem very unhealthy to me, mentally. So, again, it's like, are we to believe that these people are real? Or are they fictional? Because if they're real, then I feel dirty for having played this game, because it just feels so intimate that I feel like I've intruded on Coda's mind and also the Stanley Parable boy. If it's real, it raises troubling new questions, which is why I think that this is probably fictional. Because, I mean, how do you monetize a game like this? And it also, if you're going to be a game designer, then your second big game after your first big game, known as the Stanley Parable, you're going to want to make something that is wholly unique and wholly your own, and also is clever and steps it up a notch from the first game, which is what this feels like. It feels like that this is much more in-depth, much more meta than the Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable was already very meta. Also, there are multiple moments in the Stanley Parable that kind of feel similar to this game. like there's a moment in the Stanley Parable where you fall down a hole and then you look around and there's all of this like infrastructure around you that you can see. You can kind of see through the map and see like a bunch of other places, and that happens in this. So that happens at one point in the Stanley Parable as well. So it's like, is he stealing ideas from Coda, or is he just reusing his own idea? It feels like the second one is more likely to me. It feels like Coda can't be real, and that this game is about something else. You know, our narrator is working through something. I think that as much is clear. Or maybe he's inviting us to work through something. But seeing him from the perspective of him being a crazy fan, that I think that comes across. I do think that comes across. But it's also a little bit confusing because like many of the thoughts that he was having, pretty much like right towards the beginning of the game, I was already thinking, Coda seems disturbed. Like he's showing he's showing an understanding of, at first I said schizophrenia, and then it seemed like it was maybe more like obsessive compulsive disorder, which may just be me reading too much into something, but especially with like the typewriters and stuff like that, like it seems like this is a very obsessive compulsive person, and my instinct is to be sort of concerned and say like, this dude needs to be on medication. And so that's what I'm thinking. And then so when the narrator is also starting to raise some of his own concerns, I'm on his side, right? So by the time I get to the end, I'm feeling like Coda has overreacted and that the narrator was right. I'm feeling, even by the time I get to the end, I'm still feeling like, you know, I still think that Coda was, I haven't changed my mind. I think the narrator was right to be concerned, and Coda has isolated himself even more, but maybe that was the point. Like, this is such a meta game, it's like, well, maybe I'm supposed to think that. I honestly think that Coda is fine. We only ever get the narrator's side of the story, packed with his neediness and constant wishing for spoon-fed explanations. So instead of thinking Coda is struggling to make complete ideas, maybe it's more like the narrator doesn't understand, and instead of seeing that, narrator blames Coda for his own reactions and overanalyzes his friend, who in fact doesn't even want to be in touch. Yeah, I guess that could be the case. It could be like they were never really friends at all, and this dude is just like, get away from me. But even that seems unlikely. I mean, I guess different people have different reactions, but if I was Coda in that situation and I had a fan that was talking to me all the time, I would have told him to screw off well before it got to that point. But not everybody is like me, so it's, you know, it's sort of it's tough for me to empathize with everybody in this story, you know. And I have a tendency to overanalyze things. Sure, I still feel like if both of these people are real and this situation really did happen, I don't really leave the situation feeling like anybody's really the hero here. And I definitely don't feel like I don't really blame Coda for isolating himself. But I definitely think that, like, I don't think it would be an over-analyzation to say that Coda was showing some pretty severe, like, obsessive-compulsive thoughts. because like some of those early games were very like, this is an obsessive compulsive person. Was some of those early games, it was like, if you know what obsessive compulsive disorder looks like or is like, it's like that's what Coda seems. If the game is a representation of his psyche, which, you know, maybe it isn't, you know. But if I was Coda's friend, I would be very concerned. Just the idea of having all those constant racing thoughts in your head that you can't get rid of. I have felt what that feels like, and every time it happens to me, I make sure to try to control it. And from my perspective, I'm concerned about Coda, and it seems like Coda has no, assuming again that the game represents his psyche, it seems like he has absolutely no intention of trying to control those thoughts. And I find that concerning. You know, maybe it's not my place to psychoanalyze somebody, but I feel like I could maybe do more damage by not psychoanalyzing people, you know? Even the stuff like the notes left by the other players, those are left by players of the narrator's edited product. The entire tale, we are told, is slanted in ways that prevent us seeing what the situation was before the narrator got his hands on it. But we never saw anything of Coda's firsthand, which is why I'm more focused on the idea that Davy was never his friend, and all the messed up stuff we saw in the games could be original features, but could just as easily be a result of Davy's edits and additions. Yeah, I guess so. I guess that could be true too. I don't know though, because up until the end, I just assumed that there was only a handful of things that were changed. But I guess maybe they were trying to explain. I don't know. I don't. It's very, very strange. So Davy's the one who's crazy, and he's the one who's adding in those obsessive. Because it's true, they do go out of their way to show that Davy, or he does go out of his way to mention that he was behaving obsessively. Yeah, definitely obsessive behavior. Yeah, I would wonder what Coda's side of the story would be. But especially at the end when Davy is having such an emotional time, I'm thinking, sheesh, man. But I also, I don't want to blame him either. Like, I would be pretty upset if one of my friends seemed like he was going down the rabbit hole and then all of a sudden was like, screw you, and disappeared. I don't think that would settle my feelings. It's a strange story. And I've been through stuff like that before. Like I've had friends that I was more obsessive with than I think I would be if I could go back. Anyway, I never saw anything of It's honestly worth replaying. Like rewatching a film with twists in it, whether my idea is BS or not. It's weird just how different it all reads. If you enter into it with the thought that Coda is just a private professional person with no personal connection to Davy beyond meeting at a game jam and picking up a hanger-on, like the whole friendship was one-sided, almost delusional on Davy's part. Yeah, that's true, because the games themselves, Coda's games, are so open to interpretation. And I think that's kind of what's interesting, is that like Davey plays Coda's games and he gets an idea of of Coda's psyche, and then I play the game and I also get an idea of his psyche, and maybe that says more about me, because I'm like, yeah, it sounds like Coda's depressed. Sounds like he's freaking out. And the reason why it's that kind of stuff jumps out at me is just because, like, I've dealt with that before. I know what that feels like. And so that is going to jump out at me. Like, the other day, I think I even said on stream, some of the things about life. Sometimes we see things the way that they are, but sometimes we see things the way that we are. And that's not my quote. Somebody else said that. But that, like, sometimes in life you see things the way that you are rather than the way that they are. And so maybe that's what I was doing playing the game. I'm seeing things happen and I'm making inferences that maybe Coda didn't intend. I've had people do that to me, actually. I've had people say I've made things before, forms of art, and then presented them, and people were like, dude, you're messed up in the brain. And I'm just like, what? You're taking something that I didn't even mean. Like, I've had that. I've experienced that myself before. But yeah, I'm just really glad that Coda didn't kill himself. I was really worried that was going to happen. That's where I thought the game was going. That Coda was going to be dead, and that he had killed himself. I was like, So I'm really glad that didn't happen, is what I'm trying to say. I'm really glad that's not what the ending of that game was, because that's where I thought that was going. That other game I mentioned, Dr. Lengiskov, is also by the same writer, and it's like living through a 20-minute comedy, not digging into people's souls. I expected themes of suicide or unrequited attraction too when I first played. Yeah, that's where I was. I mean, right from the very beginning, as soon as he started talking about Coda, I was like, this dude's dead, isn't he? Like that right away. Like right away. So I'm glad I'm glad that wasn't true. I feel relieved because that wasn't true. I don't know if I want to play another game, honestly. Like, I was really only expecting to stream for a little while. I didn't realize the game was going to be 2 hours. If I had known that the game was going to be 2 hours, I think I would have set aside a little bit more time. But I'm kind of tired now because I've been going for 2.5. Yeah, I don't, Yeah, it's okay. Do 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 do. Doop 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 doop. Anyway, I feel after finishing that game, unsatisfied. I kind of want to know more. I want to know what this was, what it was, what it's about. Has sort of a modern, sort of a postmodern feel to it, but like not frustratingly postmodern. Because I typically don't like postmodern type stuff. Like stuff that's like heavily up to your interpretation. I typically don't really like that. Yep, there's the lamppost. God damn it. Damn you, Davey. How could you? Yeah, this dude's trolling us, man. He wouldn't put that in there. He wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do... If Coda was real and that actually happened, you wouldn't put the lamppost in the tile screen. There's no way. There's no way. Nobody's that cold-blooded. This is fictional, man. This whole story is a fiction. Probably based on some true events that happened in the narrator's life. But I'm thinking the games were made. I'm thinking Davey made these games. And maybe there is no Coda. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't put the lamppost. That's like a giant middle finger to Coda. If Coda's real and this story really happened, you wouldn't put the lamppost. You just wouldn't put the lamppost in the title screen. That is just a huge middle finger to Coda. There's no way this really happened. I'm convinced now. But I do think that this is based on something that really happened. Some thoughts that our narrator has had. Some things that he's been through. So I actually like it better, though. I like it better now because it's fictional. Like, that feels like... that means that this was really creative. Like, really creative. Not only was the game itself creative, but it's also, inspiring us to think about it. Was it real? Was it fictional? I wondered if it might be like a beginner's guide to how not to be a toxic, crazy fan messing up someone's life. I guess. That feels kind of shallow to me, though. The beginner's guide. Yeah, that's an interesting choice for the name of the game. The beginner's guide. Beginner's guide to what? I thought this game was going to be, like, about life. But it isn't. So why is it called The Beginner's Guide? That's an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't know. There's some options. Let's look at the options. No, okay. I thought there might be something interesting in here. How's my audio quality? I forgot. Oh no, my microphone's working now. Never mind. Well, forget I said anything then. You sound ready to go on a depressurize. Have a great weekend and whatever else is going on. Maybe catch you again. Yeah, throw me a follow if you haven't already. I stream all the time. Oh, thanks. Usually I see it, but I didn't. I'm on OBS. Usually I use Twitch Studio, but Twitch Studio is broken, so I'm using OBS right now. And usually I get a follow notification, but I didn't this time. Yeah, I stream. Most of them are not this good. But I'm hoping to get. I'm a relatively new streamer. I actually meant to have a camera up for today, But because I had to use OBS and I don't really know how OBS works, I will lower my expectations accordingly. That would be wise. But I think this one went well. I think I've been struggling to find my footing a little bit with these streams. I think this one went decently well. I feel pretty drained though, to be honest. But it was awesome seeing you. Awesome hanging out. I'm gonna go drink some water and lay down because I feel tired and dehydrated. Although I can drink my water. I have water here I could be drinking. It was really interesting. I just kind of drifted into your stream and was caught up listening to your thoughts as the game unfolded. Yeah, it's really cool that you hung out this long. I mean, and anyway, I'm gonna go now. I'm not stalling. Thanks for hanging out, though. Thanks for hanging out. You hung out almost the whole time, so cool seeing you, man. I think I'm gonna leave now. I don't actually know how to hit the. Oh, okay, I found it. All right, see ya. Bye bye.